Hi guys, in today's review is on some more Farish rolling stock, and this Farish rolling stock is the enhanced livery of the Great Western. I believe these only came out for 2 years, if I've got my facts correct. And we are looking at Great Western Mainline Composite and the Great Western Mainline Brake. I still believe these are the Southern Railway based. The years they came out was 1975 to 1977 for both of them. And I believe these are Era 2/3, but more 3, just because they've got the lovely crest or symbol on the coaches. So in this review, let's see if these will make a good basic coach, and should, I believe Bachmann own the rights to them, should they re-release the tooling for a budget range. So let's get into the review, shall we? Starting off at the front or the back of the coach, depending on your preference. This being a Farish coach, it does have the long nose coupler. Looks a bit like today's NEM pocket style ones, but without the pocket. Again, that is in plastic. As we move on up, we have a slight mould line by the looks of it. We have a buffer beam and housing and shanks in black. These are plastic. Like I said, there's no hook in the centre. As we move on up, this is a corridor coach, so it's not suburban, so it must be based on the southern coach, if I got this correct. We have 4 steps going up either side of the gangway. We have modern handrails, which are all in black. You could paint them to make them stick out. We also have some electrical equipment, again, moulded. And we also have a door in the gangway. Again, it does have the handle. Again, this is moulded. Then at the top, we have the roof, which is separately applied, which is in white. As we move on to the coach sides, we are going to start off with this first third corridor coach with compartments. So around the other side, we do have bigger windows and less doors. Still the same amazing livery. That is where the corridor is, and there's a compartment there to separate from the seating compartment to the walkway. And that is in a red, I believe. The windows are glazed, and like I said, they are less doors. But on this side is the side you sit down, and it has more doors. Again, this is a first and third compartment coach, and it has the corridor like I've said. We do have the lovely Great Western crest, and this is in an enhanced livery compared to other Great Western coaches that Farish used to do for DAPOL. We have the chocolate and cream with a bit of lining. We have, I think the door handles are picked out. We have vents at the top. And we also have seats inside. The seats inside are not coloured, they're just there. And like I said, we do have a glazing bar for the time, which was the norm, big massive glazing bar. And we have lining on these as well. If there's any details I have missed out, I do apologise. As we move on down, we do have the bogies. The bogies themselves are the usual type that you get on most Farish rolling stock by the looks of it, or coaches anyway. And that is axles and springs, and I think we have a spacer. We do have plastic wheels but a metal axle. But even though these are pretty, I think 60 years old, these are pretty old. They do have quite a lot of moulded on detail, which does look great. We also have a port in the centre between the two bogies, which I think is electrical box. And this is just, is it 2D or 1D? It's nothing more than just something to look at. Now as we move on to the first and third brake corridor, is what I want to call it. I thought I'd show you this side with the big windows where the corridor is. Again, you get the vents and you get the crest on this side. The livery is wonderful. You have the panelling with lining on both of these coaches. In the area we're going to concentrate on this coach is where the guard is, because basically the rest of it is the same as the other coach. So, like I said, we do have lining around the panelling. We also have the lining around the classification and the word baggage and guard. We also have 2 vents at the top of the guard's door as well. Again, I believe inside the guard area is seating, but personally to me it doesn't bother me. It may bother some, but it doesn't bother me. And then we have a vent, I think, near the end, and then you can see the rain ducts for the roof. I just thought I'd show you the guard section because it looks quite nice. As we now move on to the roofs. The roofs are much like all the other Farish stuff, which is we have 2 massive rain ducts at either side of the coach where the passengers will get in and out. We also have some lighting going on, which looks to be down where the seating is. And then we have, I think they are either end, 2 electrical boxes, but the whole roof is either in a white or a cream. Even on the brake, it's the same roof. And finally, as we do an underneath look at these coaches, let's start with the bogies. The bogies themselves are made out of plastic. We do have plastic wheels with metal axles. I think they've got pinpoints at the end of the axles. And you can see the long nose coupler that Farish did. As we move on down a little bit, you can see the seating going in, unlike on most Farish stuff. it isn't really off-putting. You can also see the Made in Britain and the Grafar Limited stamped on the underneath. And like I said earlier, the supports, and which I think is electrical box, are just, I think, 2D or 1D. They're very, very thin, but they give the illusion that it's there when you're looking at it going around the track. But for now, that's really all you get on the underside of these coaches. Nothing will fall off these apart from the bogies by the looks of things. So that's it on the tracks. Next up will be the coupling test I do. This time it will be a old Hornby, I think it's a railroad coach, and a new Hornby 4 and 6 wheeled variety of coach to go with it, with the new NEM pockets on it. So here goes. Yeah, no issues there. Lots of different couplings, but no issues at all. So that's the end of the review and the running session. Before I give my opinion on the price on these coaches, I'll tell you what was pulling the two coaches and the other coaches, which was a Hornby / custom streamlined King class. And that also had some extra coaches, which was a Hatton's 6-wheel and a Hornby 4-wheel, just to make it a little bit different. And then we had the DAPOL BR Hook Norton Manor, pulling the 4 you can see going round just, which were a Airfix coach, a 90s Hornby restaurant coach. I'm not sure which designers these have to call it, or Hawksworth or other designers, I'm not too sure personally. And then we have the two you can see in front of me, which we are reviewing. So the price I paid for one of these, which was a slight premium range for second-hand stock, was £20, and that was the brake. And I got it off eBay, and I also got the first and third corridor composite one off eBay, which again was £19-ish. Again, premium price for a second-hand coach. These coaches do seem to be hard to find in good condition compared to other Graham Farish ones, which you can find pretty easy online. So my opinion on these coaches, it hasn't wavered through all of my Graham Farish stock, even though this one has a higher price. These are a great budget model. I am unsure if Graham Farish or Bachmann still have the tooling for them. Like I said before, and people are probably sick and tired of hearing this, these probably would make a great budget coach. Even if you changed a few bits, like the wheels or the buffers, they don't really need that much changing. They're a great EFE range, which is basically the Hornby Railroad range. They make fantastic coaches. This livery in particular is superb. It's the best, well, it's the best coach livery I have. I have a few others like it, and it's top dollar. Saying this came out in 75, 77. It stands up to today's standards of tampere printing at the factory, and these were built in England, lest we forget. And the quality is good. Like I said, I paid £20 each, give or take, for them. And yeah, like I said, they are getting hard to find in good condition. Yeah, okay, they have a few bits of missing parts on the roofs that have been snapped off over time, but it still has all the buffers, has all the glazing, it still has the original wheels. One came in its original box, which is the old-fashioned Grafar or Graham Farish black box with gold writing. Again, these Graham Farish coaches do make up good rates for cheap money, especially if you can't afford the top prices that manufacturers charge today, which is 50, 60, even £100 a coach. Even second-hand, I think some of the second-hand South East and Chatham coaches from Bachmann are fetching £60 second-hand from what I've seen and heard of other people. So for me, I have to give it a thumbs up. I really do add something to a rake of coaches just to see them going around. You can't tell they are Southern coaches, if I have this correct. You really can't tell. Okay, you have the MANOR in the BR livery pulling it with a few random Great Western coaches. Just imagine it's a gala day at a preserved railway line somewhere and a BR MANOR is pulling a mixture of Great Western coaches. No worries whatsoever. To me, they do look great. And even at £20, I can recommend these coaches. They run smooth. They have, even with the plastic wheels, they run absolutely smooth and quiet. So that was my opinion on second-hand Graham Farish or Grafar coaches. Hopefully I'll see you in the next review. Please take care and goodbye.